The greatest trick that the enemy ever pulled on me was convincing me that I was powerless. What happened to me wasn't just an accident, bad luck, or a misunderstanding or random hate. No, it was intentional, calculated, and downright disgusting. And the worst part is, they thought I didn't notice. Here's a fact: throughout history, the most powerful people, the visionaries, the game changers, the truth seekers, were always the ones who suffer the most attacks. Why? Because nothing threatens a corrupt system more than an awakened individual. And I was never meant to stay asleep. They came for me. They tried to break me down and keep me down. Here's what they did. The chosen one label is a trap, not an honor. They told me that I was special, that I had something different, and that I had something that no one else did. And at first, it felt like an honor. It felt like I was chosen for something greater, like a purpose bigger than myself. But what they didn't tell me is that being chosen came with a price, and that price was me. The label of chosen wasn't about lifting me up, it was about setting me up. From the moment they marked me as different, they were already making plans to control my life, to take from me, plans to make sure that whatever light I had would shine, just not for my own benefit. They never wanted me to win. They just wanted me to keep playing their game. And the worst part is, they made sure that I would blame myself when things went wrong. They filled my head with ideas like maybe I'm just not good enough, maybe I need to try harder, maybe it's just me. But it was never just me, it was how they designed it. They gave me just enough hope just to keep me chasing something, but never enough to actually reach it. Because as long as I believed that I was special, I would keep proving myself and I would keep working harder, keep sacrificing myself, keep pushing myself to exhaustion, while they sat back and collected the rewards of my work and my suffering. And when I started questioning things, they called me ungrateful, difficult, and problematic because the last thing they wanted was for me to wake up. But here's the truth: I was never chosen for greatness, I was chosen for exploitation. The second I recognized this, they knew that I would break the cycle. The second that I stopped playing their game, the whole illusion falls apart. They never expected me to see through it. They never expected me to take my power back, but I now do. And that changes everything. You see, I was never chosen for greatness. I was chosen for sacrifice. They told me that I was destined for something great. I thought they meant that I was meant to lead, to inspire, to rise above. But what they really meant was something far more sinister. They chose me to be used. They needed someone strong enough to carry the weight, but obedient enough to never question why. Someone who would take the hits, absorb the pain, and keep going because that's what chosen ones do, right? They suffer for the greater good. They sacrifice their happiness, their time, and their dreams, all for the sake of something bigger. But here is the ugly truth. The ugly truth is that the only ones benefiting from my sacrifices were them. They set me up to believe that struggle was part of my destiny, that the obstacles, betrayals, and setbacks and the hardships were just tests to make me stronger. But those weren't tests, those were traps designed to keep me giving, serving, and breaking myself into pieces while they watched me from a safe distance. They praised me when I endured pain, but fell silent when I needed help. They called me strong only when my suffering would make things easier for them. And the second I started to pull away, to demand more for myself, they turned on me. Suddenly, I was not the chosen one anymore. I was selfish, ungrateful, a problem because I was never meant to thrive. I was meant to stay in place, keep serving, and never realize my worth. But now I see it for what it is. They didn't pick me because they saw my greatness. They picked me because they thought I wouldn't fight back, because they assumed I would never stop bleeding for people who wouldn't give me a bandage. They were wrong. The attacks were never random. They were strategic. They made it seem like everything that happened to me was random. Every hit was placed exactly where it would hurt me the most. They didn't want to just break me. They wanted to make sure I never got back up. That is why they attacked my confidence. They worked very hard to isolate me, not by force, but by manipulation. They turned people against me with twisted stories and false narratives. They wanted me to be alone and homeless. They pretended to support me and secretly making sure I never got ahead. And when I finally realized what they did, they called me paranoid, overreacting, mental unstable, and difficult. They made sure I never realized I had it. They programmed me to doubt myself and to stop me, not to help me thrive. When I spoke up, they called me dramatic and a liar. When I had an idea, they made me feel like it wasn't that impressive. I silenced myself when I should have spoken up, and that's exactly what they wanted. The craziest thing is that they didn't even believe the things they told me. They knew how powerful and intelligent I was. That's why they worked so hard to break me in the first place, because confusion is control. I was never lacking, I was never the problem. They just needed me to believe that I was. And now that belief is gone, and so is their control over me. The world isn't against me, just the ones who feared me. It feels like the world has been against me for as long as I can remember. No matter how well I do, no matter what I do, or how good my intentions are, there's always someone trying to block, sabotage, or attack me. For many years, I have seen them move ahead and become rich and famous and successful while they worked hard to make me believe my destiny was to struggle and to hurt. They saw my potential before I did. They recognized my potential, my mind, and my resilience. Instead of being inspired by it, they felt threatened and destroyed every good thing I built. People who operate in fear don't want competition. They want control, and if someone like me rises up, their entire system falls apart. So they isolated me, spread lies about me, make sure I am constantly fighting battles that drain my energy. They made sure that the attacks were louder than the support. I was always the threat, not the problem. Every time I was in the verge of something great, always something went wrong. But it wasn't a coincidence. That was the system working against me. They knew exactly when to send destruction and distractions. I have started over in my life more than 1,000 times, and I have always been able to get back up. But then they come back and knock me back down 10 steps back just to keep me down. The worst part is they convinced me that it was all my fault. But the truth is, I was never meant to win under their system. I know. I now take back all that it was stolen from me because they never expected me to know. My pain was their fuel. Every time I struggled, every time I broke down, they gained something. It wasn't that they didn't care about my pain. They needed it. My exhaustion made their lives easier. My self-doubt kept them in power. My willingness to endure made sure they never have to take accountability for their own actions. And the worst part, they said this was normal. They fed off my kindness, my resilience, my ability to keep going, no matter what. They took advantage of my loyalty. They drained me on purpose because they needed my light to keep their darkness secret. They needed me to believe that I was alone. They knew that as long as I felt alone, I would stay quiet. They kept me isolated, suffering, lacking, restricting me from love, money, and public. They broke me down before they saw me as a threat to the system. They kept me hidden from the world for 50 years. My kindness was used as a weapon against me. They saw my deep capacity to care. Instead of appreciating it, they exploited it. My green card was intentionally canceled in 1997 by the same system. I had to reapply and lost years of my youth, my prime time, my destiny, and my soul tribe. Everything was delayed and blocked intentionally. My life was stolen. The attacks was a proof of my power. Weak people don't get attacked, sabotaged, or targeted, but they went out of their way to sabotage me, to steal my opportunities. They spread lies about me so that people don't want to work with me. They did everything in their power that I didn't rise up too high. Attacks are never random. They were always intentional. And this is how they stole my life and my dreams and aspirations for 50 years. I started pursuing my dreams and my calling since 1991, but it was the system and Hollywood itself who were brainwashed into believing that I was a bad person. My name was blacklisted. My name was removed from the system. My name was blocked from the system because they tried to oppress my light. They tried to put out my light. They didn't like the fact that I was a person who was real. They didn't like it. Every time I was sent to a stage for a production, a video, or just a regular commercial, they would call the agency and tell them never send this person again because they all knew who I was. It wasn't that I didn't have talent. It wasn't that I didn't have the looks. It was only the fact that there were so many people that feared my potential and they all tried to put it out all together before I even realized who I was, before I realized my own power. They tried to oppress it. They tried to kill me. They tried to get rid of me in so many number of occasions. And if it wasn't for God alone, I would have not survived any of that. The only reason I am still here is because God doesn't think it's time for me to go yet. And if anything shall happen to me, the people that have been involved in all these attacks against my life, they will be questioned. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to my recording or my video. I am so sorry that I couldn't be on camera, but I had to do this for you because I am tired of people trying to hide me. And if they continue to hide me, they will continue to be monitored. And when justice comes, then they'll know that this is the end. As of them trying to control me, it's over. I have figured out exactly who they are, what they do, how they operate, and what they did. All of them. I have a face, I have a name, I have an IP address, I have an address, and so does the police, so does the FBI. It may look like I'm walking alone, but I'm not alone. And that is one thing that all of you overlooked. I am not gullible, and I'm definitely not stupid. I am nice, kind, and loving. I'm not a snob. I'm not a smug. I'm not conceited. People who know me, they know that I am a person who's real. I don't talk BS. I talk the truth. Bless everyone, and thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm sorry about my first time introductory in this way, but it is what it is. I love you guys, and thank you for being part of my subscribers. And please continue to support my work, and please continue to share my videos, and make sure that you like the hit and subscribe button so that you can keep helping me grow and keep improving my growth. I love you all, and God bless you.